After all this time, it looks like we've got some new developments in the case of who killed Tupac. Well, according to TMZ, just last month, the Las Vegas police were granting a search warrant at a home in Henderson, Nevada, less than 20 miles from the scene where Tupac was shot in the 1996 drive-by shooting. According to BBC News, the home search belonged to Dwayne Keith Davis, also known as Keefy D, who is said to have been inside the car carrying the alleged man that killed Tupac. During the search, police took hard drives, tablets, laptops, a copy of Vibe magazine featuring Tupac, along with the book Compton Street Legends, co-written by Davis. Now, according to ABC News, no charges have been filed and no arrests have been made, but the evidence is now being presented to a Las Vegas grand jury. Now, joining me today, we actually have the brother of Tupac, Mopreme Shakur. Thank you so much for joining us. This definitely means a lot. How are you doing?
I'm putting up with it, you know. God is good. I'm still here. How y'all doing?
I'm doing all right. I can definitely understand it's a lot going on, especially right now in the news, and I know it's heavy on you. So thank you so much for joining us. I know right now is a difficult time. I want to start with you. First, let me say I do admire your backdrop. It looks a lot better than mine. I told you that earlier, but I had to say it again. It definitely looks very peaceful. So I think it's a perfect place to be in. But I want to talk about you a little bit. I know in 2024 you have a memoir coming out called This Thug's Life. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what people can expect?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning it. It is my upcoming memoirs about basically my life until the loss of my brother. And the good thing about it is that the people going to finally get something directly from the family, from someone in the family. There's a lot of content created about and around us, but not specifically from us, since our music rise.
Absolutely. No, and I think that's a great thing because like I said, there's a lot of narratives, but actually hearing from the family, I think that's what we want. That's what we want to hear from everyone. But I want to talk to you because as I mentioned, I know right now it's a tough time. There's a lot of information coming out, especially now that the case has an apparent breakthrough. I want to get, it's been nearly 30 years, 3 decades. That's a really long time for this case to not be solved. What was your reaction when you heard that they did have an apparent breakthrough on this case with your brother?
I was Scooby-Doo, it's been 27 years, yo. 27 years. They've been known about dude for quite some time, at least 20. We've been doing interviews, writing books. I mean, I don't understand what the delay is. I'm just confused overall, about a lot of things with that case in Las Vegas, how things went down and how things went down post.
Yeah.
And the powers that be, there's something happening. I don't know what it is, but like I said, get your popcorn, everybody kick back, let's see what's gonna happen. I would love for it to be solved. But there is some blockage, something going on where the effort and is just not there.
Now, something that you mentioned, I know we have to tread lightly with this conversation, being that is an open investigation. So, but I do, there are some things that are already out there, right? Keefy D is the gentleman that you are mentioning when you talk about, he wrote a book. We've seen him doing interviews. And he did say in the book, as well as in the interviews, that he believes that his nephew, Orlando, was the shooter that killed Tupac. When you heard that, or as you've heard that over, nearly 30 years, what are your thoughts there? Is that something that you believe? Is that the storyline that you believe, or do you think it's something different than that?
I personally was like, wow, he out there like that with it. Let's see what happens. I would think competent law enforcement would follow up or do something. I ain't no cop, I don't, but I'm not stupid. I'm very logical. And if this is your job, why aren't you, doing that? It's like if your job is to change tires and you change the tires, but you always forget to put the lug nuts on. What is that?
And I'm just gonna be very, it's very surprising to me because as I hear people talk about this case, a lot of people were not surprised about, Orlando, especially, a lot of people said they knew exactly, who did it. There was no surprise. Orlando was out about 2 years before he was killed, outside, something outside of this, not related. Why do you think there was no arrests made or like no action taken during that time frame of when Orlando was out? He was still alive. Why do you think no actions were taken?
It's a dirty game. The music business, law enforcement, they're both dirty games. So, it's a dirty piece of business. And there's a lot of people that don't want the truth out. So, everyone is being very careful and very precautious for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are in question, including myself. That I'm honestly I'm Scooby Doo too. I'm like, huh, like what what the heck is this? What is happening? It's been nearly 30 years. I'm right at 30, but even as a child, just hearing about the stories, it's like, why is this not solved? But one thing that does bring up, I think there are differences in the way we talk about your brother's death. Do you feel that it would be considered an assassination, like a deliberate assassination of Tupac?
Uh, yeah, it's pretty deliberate. I think for something so deliberate and a situation like this with these search warrants to do people's house in Las Vegas, something that was so obvious, Fady passed away without anything, any follow-ups, nothing, something so obvious. Why couldn't they done this earlier? I mean, people didn't just start getting cell phones and electronics. They've been there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I know it's a lot. I appreciate you walking through this with me. Now, I do want to go back because I've seen interviews that you have done where you talked about, the days leading up, because Tupac actually didn't pass at the scene. He would pass later in the hospital, but you talked about, him being on the first floor, which was another Scooby-Doo moment for me. After something like that, you would think he's more in a secure place, but him being on the first floor and how you, along with others, took the position to protect your brother, making sure you're monitoring the entrances and the exits and just making sure you're protecting him the way that he should have been. And you also talked about, your brother trying his best to give you last words, but he just wasn't able to. So I'd love to ask you, were there any last words you were able to give Tupac or anything that you were able to tell him before he did pass?
I told him I loved him. And I told him, as soon as he gets up out of there, we're going to talk, we're going to handle it. That's what I told him. And was never able to make it out.
Yeah, and I know that's been difficult. And I'm going to be honest here. How have you been holding up? Like, how have you been able to continue to push? And, because a lot of people couldn't imagine. So how have you been able to continue to move and move forward in life with this?
The words of my father, stay straight ahead. We are cause, we are strong people. This is, our family's been going through periods like this since the 60s, uncles and aunts in the movement, the setups from the feds, COINTELPRO, conspiracies, this type of behavior is not new. Pain is always real, but situationally, it's recognizable. And Pac and I felt, we soldiers fight, soldiers die, and I know he was a soldier, so it gives me a little more comfort to know he was a fighter, he was a warrior, and he knew the consequences of certain things.
And Mopreme, you're living out that same legacy too. You're a soldier, you're a fighter, and I think you continuing and being just being present shows that. Shakur has quite a legacy. That name has a legacy that will live past beyond many years. Like I said, even me being 30 and not obviously not being, in my teens or, just being aware of the situation, growing up, that name has always been like a staple in my home. So I want to ask, where was that name pulled from? I know your father was the one that actually brought the name to the family. Where and why that name?
Well, Saladin Shakur actually, we adopted the name first, and Uncle Lumumba, Uncle Zaid, then my father, they were like brothers. They were all Shakurs. Asada adopted the name Asada, and they all went on to do impactful things in and around the community and supporting freedom fighters and people who fight for Black liberation of Black and brown peoples around the world. And which manifests in different ways. It manifests through music, it manifests through politics, through healthcare. So, our family has been underground fighting that fight for a long time. It's just, with Pac and I being in the music business, it, put it on us on a different level.
Absolutely. Now, recently, and I'm sorry to hear about the passing, recently your father would pass away. He was released from prison and he was able to spend the last 6 or so, 7 months with family and friends due to cancer. Again, I am sorry for your loss. What was that time like for you? I know it was a bittersweet moment because we've been fighting, people have been fighting for so long to get him out earlier, to get him home with family, but it kept being denied. And then finally, he was able to be released home. That last 6 or 7 months, how was that time shared? If you could, share those moments, what was that like?
That time was like, man, it was fantastic. It was like a win for the people because we didn't think it was a possibility he wasn't even going to get out. And not only did he make it out, flew home on a G5, we had a whole bunch of soul food waiting for him. He had some epic moments in that 6 months. He met with Mayor Bass, Karen Bass out here. He met with Nas.
Wow.
He started recording the album. I mean, my pops was an amazing dude, and I'm gonna miss him. But I love the moments when simple moments we would ask, "How you feeling, Matu? How you doing?" He said, "I feel free."
Wow.
So he actually verbalized it. He said it. He felt it, and that's I feel fortunate that I got that.
Yeah, when you think about your father's legacy, what are you hoping, people will take from it? Because there's so many headlines, there's so many things we can read. But like you said, it's nothing like hearing from the family. So, straight from you, what legacy are you hoping that people can take away from your father?
Oh man. There's so many. There's the warrior spirit. There's the healthcare of ourselves in our communities. That legacy of healthcare through acupuncture, through massage and the 5 points treatment. I mean, things that he put into that aspect can go far. I mean, he was treating drug addicts, heroin drug addicts, how to get off of drugs through acupuncture. Wow. We currently have several epidemics, drug epidemics, and acupuncture is, effective on some levels. So that to me, that's huge.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. He's like I said, there are just so many things that I feel like the name Shakur embodies. It's a beautiful one for sure. And I'll start wrapping us out. But with this case, for me, I think I have my own feelings, and I think a lot of people that I talk to have their own feelings about what's going to happen if this case is finally closed and solved. For you, is there any closure that you'll feel or any peace that you'll get if this case is indeed finally, officially solved and closed?
I will be happy. I'll be happy for my sister because she wants some closure. And I, it's been so long, man. It's been so long. We've all had to find ways to deal with it without it being solved, right? So when it is solved, I'm not even sure now how I'm going to feel.
Yeah. And they say, they are saying in the reports that it still could take a couple months before anything. I mentioned some of the things that were found at the house of Keefe D. So, I don't know, I guess we'll see it. But I do want to tell you directly, like, I definitely appreciate you and your family for all that you all have done for us and the community and the world. I know it's taken a lot of loss for you all. And, I can't necessarily say that, it's worth it or anything like that. But if it does mean anything, we are grateful, and it doesn't go on closed ears or, under a rug. The name Shakur will live forever. So thank you all for all that you all are doing, all that has been seen and unseen. So I do want to make sure I tell you that. Again, for This Thug's Life, it comes out 2024. Is there anywhere right now where people can go and keep up in the meantime until that memoir does come out so that we can, keep up with the journey?
My my Instagram is kind of whacked out right now. There's all kind of stuff going on. But I do have an Instagram, Mopreme Shakur, blue check, and I got a Twitter. I'm just not active on the social media. I be doing other shit, honestly, excuse my French. But by the time it's time to drop, I'm at the website, all of that stuff for the book. This Thug's Life. Check out your boy, holla at your boy. I appreciate all of y'all for supporting us through the years. It ain't easy being greasy, baby.
Not at all, but we appreciate you. And yeah, when it does come out, we'll make sure to bring you back and also make sure that we're promoting it here as well. It's something I will definitely be checking out myself, and I know our producers and writers here as well. But again, thank you so much, Mopreme. It's such an honor, truly an honor to talk to you, and I look forward to hearing from you some more.
Thank you. Appreciate you too. Y'all hold it down. Keep representing. Holla at your boy when you need me.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a new backdrop. I need my backdrop to change. I need my backdrop to look like that. I want that. That's what I want.
Well, there's usually a bunch of marijuana plants in here. But yeah.
No, I love it. You have quite the vibe. It is very peaceful. I'm so honored to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. But you heard from us. Now we want it from you in the comments below. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.